Welcome back to the Real Story channel. Are you curious to know how Emeka and Chief Namdi navigate this difficult situation? Will they find a way to heal their hearts and move forward? Or will the pain and betrayal linger, causing irreparable damage? Join us in this captivating video as we delve into the emotional journey of Emeka and his wise father, Chief Namdi. Discover the power of love, the complexities of relationships, and the choices we make when faced with difficult decisions. Will true love prevail, or will the allure of wealth and status triumph? Watch until the end to find out the fate of Emeka and Princess Amora's once unbreakable bond. Prepare yourself for an emotional rollercoaster filled with heartbreak, love, and the everlasting strength of family ties. You don't want to miss this captivating story that will leave you questioning the true meaning of love and loyalty. Once upon a time, after Princess Amora said she wanted to marry Prince Chidi, things got quiet and awkward between her and Keen. Keen pulled his hands away from hers and moved back, creating space between them. He looked at her with sadness and shock in his eyes. "After all these years of me being there for you and my family accepting you despite your condition," Keen said, his voice shaking with emotion, "this is how you'll repay me? I can't believe you're letting me down again." Amara felt guilty seeing Keen's pain but tried to explain her tough decision. "I know you've been there for me, Emeka, but it's hard for me to stay with you. I'm royalty, and I have to marry someone of the same status to honor my family's legacy. Please try to understand," she continued, hoping he would understand. "The prince promised to bless you and give a big sum of money to you and your family. He'll build a big house with guards and servants. I think that's a good reward for what you've done for me," Amora explained. But Emeka wasn't interested. He shook his head strongly. "I helped you because I love you, Amora. I didn't do it expecting anything in return. I won't accept the prince's offer. I don't care about his money. I don't need it." His clear refusal to take any reward lingered in the air. Amara had hoped he would understand better. She sighed sadly, realizing Emeka couldn't be persuaded. Her heart felt heavy as she prepared to say goodbye to the kind drummer who had loved her so much. "I came to share my decision so it won't surprise you later. Thank you for everything, Chima," she said, trying to keep her voice steady despite tears welling up in her eyes. She stood up slowly and began to walk away, leaving Emeka heartbroken in their once special meeting place in the forest grove. He watched her go, feeling a mix of sadness, anger, and betrayal coursing through him. Emeka had always accepted Princess Amora despite her struggles with the curse, but now her choice to marry the wealthy prince solely for status and riches hurt him deeply. He wondered if all their years together, all the challenges they had faced side by side, meant nothing to her in the end. Everywhere he looked, there were reminders of the life they planned in this hidden paradise away from royal duties, but those dreams were now shattered by Amora's choice of wealth and status over true love. With a heavy heart, Emeka slowly packed up the picnic blanket and the basket of berry tarts he had prepared, looking at the untouched food. His eyes filled with tears. Just yesterday, he had been excited to surprise Amora. Now, the sweet pastries left a bitter taste in his mouth. Trying to understand what just happened, Emeka walked home, feeling like his heart was breaking with each step. He kept replaying their talk in his head, trying to find any sign that Amora's feelings had changed, that maybe she never really loved him. But he couldn't find any answers, only more hurt and confusion. As he got closer to the village, Emeka dreaded having to tell his father, Chief Namdi, about what happened. The kind healer had supported their relationship, and now Emeka had to admit that Amora chose wealth over their love. He pictured the disappointment on his father's face, and it made him shudder. Chief Namdi had put a lot of trust in Princess Amora, even performing rituals to lift her curse. Knowing she turned her back on that hard-won freedom would crush him. But Emeka knew he couldn't keep such a big, life-changing event from his father. He owed it to Chief Nemdi and himself to share the whole truth about what happened in the forest grove. Maybe his wise father could help him understand Amora's confusing decision, or at least offer a sympathetic ear and some ancestral wisdom to ease Emeka's heartache. Either way, facing this alone wasn't an option. As Emeka got to his father's herbal hut, Chief Nemdi sensed his son's distress right away. The village healer hurried out and hugged Emeka, his face showing concern. "My son, what's bothering you?" Chief Nemdi asked gently, holding Emeka at arm's length to look at him. Emeka took a deep breath. Saying the words out loud made it even more painful. "Father, Princess Amara chose to marry Prince Chidi instead of me." Chief Nemdi looked shocked but stayed silent, letting Emeka continue. Emeka felt grateful for his father's patience and wisdom. "The prince offered a lot of money and even a big house with servants for our family if Amara married him," Emeka explained, his voice full of pain. "But I refused his offer. I didn't do things for her expecting to get something in return." Tears filled Emeka's eyes as he remembered their talk in the forest. "My love for the princess was pure and unwavering. Doesn't she care about that? After everything we've been through?" Chief Nemdi hugged his upset son, letting him share his pain and anger. The old healer stayed quiet for a while, gently stroking Emeka's hair, just like he did when Emeka was a child. Finally, he spoke calmly. "I'm sad and angry about the princess's choice too, my son. You gave her your whole heart during her troubles. To have that love rejected for material things is a big insult." Emeka nodded, more tears falling at his father's words. At least Chief Nemdi understood how hurt and betrayed he felt. But then Chief Nemdi continued, "But we have to handle this with maturity, considering our respected positions." Emeka looked at his father in surprise. Was he saying they should just accept what happened? Observing the perplexity on Chief Uso's face, he proceeded to elaborate, "Do not fret, Adan. There will come a time when not only individuals within the kingdom, but the entire world will acknowledge and celebrate you. Just remain patient and resilient, akin to the mighty oak trees that endure countless storms." Chief Uso's voice grew resolute as he continued to embody the virtues of an honorable and upright person. "The right moment will arrive when everyone recognizes your true value. That recognition, surpassing any fleeting wealth, will be far more significant." Oren's brow furrowed, puzzled by his father's cryptic words. He implored, "Father, please clarify your meaning. I am having difficulty comprehending." Chief Uso smiled kindly and placed a reassuring hand on Oren's shoulder. "Do not worry, my child. When the opportune moment arises, you will undoubtedly discern it. Until then, trust in the wisdom of our ancestors, who have always guided us faithfully." Though still perplexed, Oren maintained unwavering faith in his father's wisdom. He nodded slowly, feeling a glimmer of hope rekindling within him, despite the pain caused by Madan's rejection. Perhaps there was more to this situation than met the eye at present. Chief Uso seemed to sense a grander plan or destiny for Orenza. Consequently, he resolved to heed his father's advice and remain patient during this challenging period. Oren expressed gratitude, saying, "Thank you, Father. Your words bring me solace, even if I do not fully comprehend them yet." Atsi embraced his father tightly, vowing to stay courageous and move forward, just as Chief Uso had suggested. A sense of pride filled Chief Uso as he returned the embrace. As the evening shadows lengthened, they sought solace in their unbreakable bond and the unseen forces that protected them. Chief Uso nodded approvingly and suggested, "That's my brave son. Let's prepare some soothing tea from willow bark. You've had a trying day." Meanwhile, Princess Layla continued with her plans, drawing closer to Prince Zain. She approached her father, King Omar, to inform him of her decision. "Father, I have already informed Amara about my intention to marry Prince Zain," Layla asserted firmly. The king received this news with dissatisfaction and reminded his daughter of his earlier counsel. Did I not advise you to wait and let events unfold naturally? Why are you rushing into this? Why discard the love and support Chidi gave you? King Omar sighed deeply, acknowledging, I cannot force you to marry someone you do not wish to, and I will not strip away your rights as a princess. However, understand that I do not agree with your choice to abandon the man who stood by you through thick and thin. Despite her father's words, Layla paid them no heed. Somewhat spoiled and failing to learn from her past mistakes, she proceeded with her plans to wed Prince Zain, even against her father's wishes. Layla was enticed by his wealth and status, oblivious to Chidi's genuine love. In the ensuing weeks, Prince Zain's entourage arrived, conducting all the requisite wedding ceremonies and paying Layla's full bride price to King Omar. The preparations for the grand royal wedding commenced, becoming a lavish spectacle attended by nobles from all realms. As the ceremony commenced, Chidi made the difficult decision to observe from the back of the crowd, witnessing the woman he loved exchanging vows and participating in sacred rituals with the arrogant prince. People around him whispered and cast pitying glances, fully aware of the heart-wrenching circumstances. Some shook their heads, unable to fathom how Princess Layla could forsake a love as pure as Chidi's for the allure of wealth. The monarch extended his hand and embraced Chidi warmly, allowing him to finally release his pent-up grief against his shoulder. They remained in that position for a while, sharing their sorrow over the princess's decisions. As Chidi gradually calmed down, the king held him with a proud expression and spoke, "You've shown remarkable dignity and grace throughout all of this. Remember, celestial forces recognize individuals like you, even when the world fails to see your admirable spirit." With those words, King Emeka gave a comforting squeeze to Chidi's shoulder before returning to the palace. Chidi watched him depart for a moment before entering his humble dwelling, feeling emotionally drained but slightly encouraged by the notion of mysterious forces still at work. Chidi realized that, despite losing the princess, he had gained something precious, a paternal figure who acknowledged his true worth beyond his common status. It was a small consolation, but it provided him with some strength to confront the uncertain future that lay ahead. Upon arriving home, Chief Ngozi awaited Chidi outside, aware that he might require solace after enduring such a challenging time. Once Chidi drew near, the healer embraced him tightly, akin to a father, and they stood like that for a while, allowing Chidi to find some solace in the embrace. Yuzo could sense his son's body shaking with suppressed sorrow. Finally, Yuzo held Chidi's face in his hands, looking into his tear-filled eyes. "My son, your heart has endured a great deal, but do not lose hope or faith in the grander plan," he said reassuringly. Chidi attempted to speak, but the pain and confusion made it impossible. How could he feel hopeful after witnessing the love of his life pledging herself to another man? Sensing his son's inner struggle, Chief Yuzo spoke in a gentle yet firm voice, "Chidi, you have displayed incredible patience, honesty, and bravery throughout all of this. The ancestors have surely taken notice." He guided Chidi into the hut, settling him down on a woven mat before taking a seat across from him. The healer retrieved a small pouch and sprinkled a potent-smelling powder into a bowl, wafting it under Chidi's nose. "Breathe this in, son. It will help calm your troubled mind," Yuzo said softly. Chidi inhaled the soothing smoke, feeling it momentarily numb his pain. As tension left his body, his father continued to offer comforting words and impart wisdom. "What you have endured is one of life's most challenging trials, to devote your entire heart to someone only to face rejection." Chief Yuzo shook his head sadly. Princess Amara may have been blinded by the allure of material possessions after enduring so much, or perhaps darker spiritual forces led her away from true love. Regardless of the reasons, you must release the anger, resentment, and sadness in your heart, Chidi, Yuzo said, patting his son's knee. "Otherwise, those emotions will consume you like a chronic illness. Chidi finally spoke, his voice sounding defeated. "How can I let go of the pain, father? Amara meant everything to me. She was my entire world. Without her, what future do I have?" The healer's expression turned resolute. "Chidi, there is always a future and a purpose for those who have suffered greatly. The ancestors would not have allowed you to endure this difficult time without reason," Chief Yuzo said. "You should rest now and try to sleep. We can discuss more later." He retrieved a small pouch and sprinkled a potent-smelling powder from it, wafting it under Chidi's nose. The fragrance made Chidi feel drowsy, and he fell into a deep slumber. 3 years later, Princess Amara and Prince Chidi were married and had a son named Obina. One day, shocking news spread across the 5 kingdoms. The High King, who ruled over all the realms and was Prince Chidi's father, had fallen gravely ill. Despite the best efforts of the healers, the High King succumbed to the illness and passed away, leaving the entire kingdom in mourning. The sorrowful news swiftly reached all the realms, and kings, chiefs, and councils were informed of the devastating loss of their supreme ruler. A period of great sadness was declared throughout the lands, and nobility from all 5 kingdoms traveled to the capital to bid their final farewells. After days of mourning and funeral ceremonies, the High King was laid to rest in accordance with ancient customs. Now, without a king to rule, tradition dictated that exactly 7 days after the king's death, his eldest son should be crowned as the new ruler to govern all the realms. As the 7th day approached, kings and important dignitaries from all 5 realms gathered at the historic ceremonial grounds, where the coronation would take place. Princess Adiz was elated that her dream of Chidi ascending to the position of High King had finally come true. The day was filled with anticipation and a sense of solemnity, as the future of the entire kingdom hung in the balance. Meanwhile, Chidi had spent the past 3 years rebuilding his life and finding solace through his work as a healer. He had grown wiser and more resilient, learning to embrace the teachings of his father and the guidance of the ancestors. Although the pain of losing Princess Amara still lingered deep within him, he had come to understand that his destiny was not tied solely to her. News of the High King's passing reached Chidi, and he felt a deep sadness for the kingdom's loss. He had always admired the High King's wisdom and leadership, and now the realm stood at a crossroads, awaiting a new ruler. As Chidi contemplated the uncertain future, a thought crossed his mind, an opportunity to contribute to the kingdom's healing in his own way. Chidi decided to attend the coronation ceremony, not as a spectator, but as a healer offering his services to those in need. He knew that grief and uncertainty could weigh heavily on the hearts of the kingdom's people, and he wanted to bring them solace and healing through his knowledge of herbs, rituals, and compassionate care. On the day of the coronation, Chidi arrived at the ceremonial grounds, wearing his healer's robes adorned with symbols of his craft. The sight of kings and nobles from all 5 realms filled the area, their expressions a mix of anticipation, grief, and hope. As the ceremony began, Chidi moved through the crowd, offering his services to those who sought comfort or healing. He listened to the stories of loss and pain, offering words of empathy and performing healing rituals to ease their burdens. His reputation as a skilled healer and a compassionate soul quickly spread among the attendees, and people sought him out, hoping for relief from their emotional and physical ailments. As the coronation ceremony progressed, Chidi's presence became a source of solace for many. He provided herbal remedies to soothe troubled hearts, performed cleansing rituals to release negative energies, and offered guidance to those who sought clarity in their lives. Unbeknownst to Chidi, Princess Amara, who was now Queen Amara, noticed his presence and observed his interactions with the people. She was struck by his genuine compassion and the impact he had on those around him. Queen Amara had always valued wisdom and humility, and she recognized these qualities in Chidi. After the coronation ceremony concluded, Queen Amara approached Chidi, her regal presence contrasting with his humble demeanor. She thanked him for his invaluable contribution to the kingdom on such a momentous day and expressed her gratitude for his healing presence. Chidi, humbled by the queen's words, bowed respectfully. He explained that his intention was merely to provide solace and support to the people during a time of transition. Queen Amara, however, saw something more in him, an individual who possessed the qualities of leadership, wisdom, and compassion that the kingdom needed. Moved by Queen Amara's insight, Chidi began to see a new path unfolding before him. Perhaps his purpose extended beyond healing the physical and emotional wounds of individuals. Maybe he had a role to play in guiding and serving the kingdom as a whole. In the days that followed, Queen Amara and Chidi engaged in deep conversations, discussing the challenges facing the kingdom and the qualities required in a leader. The queen recognized Chidi's potential and offered him a position as an advisor to the royal court, drawing upon his wisdom and unique perspective. Chidi accepted the queen's offer, realizing that his journey had taken an unexpected turn. He embraced his new role with humility and dedication, striving to bring about positive change and healing in the kingdom. Over time, his influence grew, and he became known as the healer advisor to the queen, offering guidance on matters of governance, justice, and compassion. As Chidi fulfilled his duties and the years passed, the pain of his lost love, Princess Emeka, gradually softened. He recognized that his journey had led him to a place where he could make a difference, not just in the lives of individuals, but in the destiny of an entire kingdom. Chidi's story serves as a reminder that even in the face of heartbreak and uncertainty, one can find purpose, healing, and the strength to make a meaningful impact in the world. Thank you for watching. See you in the next updated videos.